super chat. Hector Santana says, I'm looking at getting the Denon X3800H smaller room. Is there value in having 2 RSL speedwoofers and 2 bigger subs for 40 hertz signals for rumble? So 2 RSL speedwoofers and 2 bigger subs. Anybody have experience with the RSLs? I know that they are pretty small. And then having 2 bigger subs. I mean, I'm all for having more subs personally, if you can do it, and using a mini DSP to kind of balance everything out so that the smaller woofers can play to their max, and then letting the other woofers, kind of take over from there. I mean, that's a good idea. And using the subs to smooth out the bass. Yeah. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking to Brad, Home Theater Gamer, I didn't realize that he has a 4 subwoofer setup. He's got two big old subwoofers up front, and then he's got 2 smaller near field behind. So, and he said he demoed the scene in Blade Runner 2049 where he shows up at that orphanage. But before that, like, he gets shot down out of the sky, and then rockets start coming down from like a satellite. But he demoed it to a couple of friends with just the 2 front subwoofers, and they're like, "Oh man, that sounded so great." And then he's like, "Well, wait a minute, let me turn on all 4 subs." And he played it again, and like, they were just blown away. They're like, I've never experienced anything like this ever. So,
near field is fun, man. I'll be honest. The first time I heard that and experienced it, it's a different experience, man. And I've heard some guy, there was one guy, I think he had it was either 21 or a 24 inch behind, like a near field. Another gentleman had 3 of his seats. Each one of those have an 18. And it's incredible. Like, it's a pretty, amazingly tactile experience. And when it's out, now of course it can be too much, like anything else. It's all about calibration. You can crank it up to the point to where it's totally distracting, or you can dial it in and EQ it to where it's part of the system. And when you get it right, dude, it's an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Chris Wyndham, thank you for the super chat. He says, what about near field ported and boosted at higher frequency? Near field ported.
I mean, are you saying you would want to boost it higher? I mean, ideally you're wanting a pretty flat frequency response. So I don't know why you would want to boost your higher frequencies.
Yeah.
In any kind of frequency response.
He says like 60 dB. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly about the boosting the higher frequency, but I don't see any issue necessarily with using a ported sub for near field.
Right.
We always kind of recommend that if you have ported subs, keep it all ported. And of course, the best is having all the same exact sub, right? It's kind of just tough to do a mix of sealed and ported. I do, but I have to do all kinds of stuff to make sure that they work well with each other. And I don't know if most people are going to want to do what I have to do to make that work. I have to use some crazy software to do it properly. Yeah. 60 hertz. What about near field port? Yeah, I'm not sure about the boosting part, I guess. Here's the other thing I noticed though. When you do near field, the assumption is that, you're going to get a flat response because you're so close and your room's not going to interact. But my experience is not really that. When you're close, the seat itself actually becomes an absorber, and what you actually experience and feel might be 2 different things, because you might feel it, but what you hear might be 2 different things. So you have to measure, right? So whether you boost or cut is going to depend on what actually happens at your seat.
If you're interested in joining us in the after show, you can visit patreon.com/daily HiFi. We'd love to hang out with you and get to know you better. We're going to have a lot of fun.